charts and other platforms where you can really be very creative, you will have a way to save your dark mode settings and your white mode settings. That way you don't have to go back and forth. And let's say you at daytime you switch to snow, right, white, and then you make a couple changes, and then you go back to dark mode, and then you have to edit everything back to how you wanted it in dark mode, right? That could be a little annoying. So we're gonna implement. Victor's gonna help us implement something where you can just save your dark mode settings and your snow mode settings and just simply switch back and forth. Um, okay, so that's basically the overall settings. You can change your password whenever you want. The tool. The tool is quite simple, where you have a trade window here. You select the trade window of your trade and the time frame you wanted to analyze, or rather the time window. Scalping intraday swing, you run the analysis. I like to run first an intraday at a maximum of 4 and 48 hours, just to get a feel of what Liqu is suggesting that the overall daily move could be, right? It's common to get a weight signal here because obviously we're ranging, right? This is the 4-hour time frame. I'm going to go to the 1 hour. And based on the 1 hour time frame, as you can see, obviously we have all of this range. But Liqu is very effective when it comes to short term, and I'm pretty sure it could start telling you here to potentially buy after seeing these lows get swept. So it'll tell you also that there's a V shape potentially confirmed. These institutional candles also tell you something. So let's see what it tells me in the intraday. And Liqu has corrected me a bunch of times. Hey, here it is. It's telling me to wait. Okay, now there's a breakdown. Okay, that's what it's telling you, that it's happening within the past, what did I tell it, 48 hours. The breakdown was from the 4050 right over here. So this 4050 key support level broke out, and it's a bearish breakdown. This panel will notify you. Okay, that's a new integration that's going to come very soon, where this is a live updated panel where it normally says ranging, or it could say breakdown to the downside or breakup. If I'm not mistaken, Wilco was around when we were having one of these live sessions, and a signal to the upside of this panel said breakout to the upside, and then just price went straight up. Abby, you have no sound. That's probably you, because most of us hear myself. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Um, Pop out and back in. Okay, so breakdown. This is telling me that 4050 is breaking down. So with this, what you could do is say, okay, give me a short projection. Right, so you run that. This is the 1 hour time frame. It's giving you quite a wide stop loss because, again, price is ranging. But based on the breakdown, and because it's bearish, uh, overall bearish structure, the potential short would be these levels. Okay, you can switch this to long again, but keep in mind, algorithm is already going to tell you what it suggests is the highest probable option. Okay, as you can see, V-shape confirmed what I told you. The V-shape. This is basically my personal strategy put into Liqu, where most of you know, I'm looking for that V-shape. And if we go to, let me see, if we go to the 5-minute time frame, we are seeing basically price make a V-shape below previous day's lows right there. Okay, so this is your previous day low at 40.30 something, and price dipped below, went back up. Okay, so here's your V-shape, 1, 2, 3, 4 up over here. So 5 could be in the making soon, where it tries to come back down here and retest. As I move my chart, obviously this will probably adapt, so you may want to toggle that on and off when you trade. That might be something. If you're seeing this, Victor, the trade projection kind of moving along with price.
Yeah, you want that to stay in place.
Not necessarily, because I know we are adapting it to the time frame as well, but it might be interesting to see why that's happening. I think I know why. It's because it's always calculating the potential highest.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how I have it set right now. Meaning, when you move the chart, like it literally shows you like basically if you took a trade at the candle that's like over the candles that it's over. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you could like analyze past moves and whatever. Like, oh, if I would have bought in here, I could have took profit here. You know what I'm saying? If you
You
want
could you could also
something,
pin
if you want
you
to do more, that's fine.
you could also, if I'm not mistaken, you could, can you pin it somewhere?
No, I did not add a pin, so
Yeah, no.
that's not difficult, but I can add it so it just stays, right?
Yeah, because if somebody took a trade, right, for example, right now, and it changes, it might kind of alter it a little.
Gotcha.
That's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off just for the sake of the, you know, the video. We There you go. Okay, so going back to all of this analysis that the tool is giving you, we are, as you can see, the V shape here in the 1 minute. You can also see it a bit cleaner. One down over here, two, three, this dip, four already all the way up here, and so five, as I told you, it could come down here, retest, and then pop up. It gives you it gives you the variables it's using: macro, institutional, technical, structure. So aligning those and it giving it a score, it'll then give you the actual suggestion, right? Where in this case it's weight, because again I ran it in 4 hours, analyzing the last 2 days. So in terms of an intraday trade, it's it is a cautious market. Now, if I go back to, for example, scalping, 30 minutes, the last 6 hours, let's see what that tells me. It says long. You see, 60% win rate. Now let me ask, does that make sense with what we have been looking at price, right? And technically it does. Absolutely. You see the V shape confirmed over here. You see this is already a big push up. It is true you could get a retracement, a somewhat of a pullback, but overall, this area should hold over here, right? All of the area where the price was at previous lows from the daily lows. If I go to the 15-minute time frame, you can see how price manipulated yesterday's lows of Asia, and there's your V shape. So I'm going to extend this all the way up here to the left. There you go. Okay. And so that area is where price could retest and it should hold. Okay. So it's giving you as a scalp trade a long 60% potential win, and invalidation is 40-36. So Liqu gives you quite a tight parameter because you want to obviously have small losses, big wins. But this is where you have to be responsible as a trader and implement your own risk management. This is something that we just cannot implement ourselves because we cannot tell you what to do. As you can understand, that implies as a direct order to invest your money, which is very delicate. So that is why we're always showing this is a potential long trade. Okay. If we go back down to the 5 minute, let's just briefly analyze this live and see based on the based on the signal, here it is, 40.36. Let's put it at 40. Well, let's leave it here at 40.34, more or less, right? I would personally put it a bit lower because that's where the lows were, but without touching something or anything, let's just leave these parameters here intact and see how it plays out. I'm going to draw a line, an arrow where it's telling me to buy, which is basically up over here, stop loss over here. Okay, so we're going to leave that just to see. Breakout, here it is, 40.43. It's telling me it broke out of 40.43, and that was these previous highs over here from where institutions started manipulating price down, right over here. Okay, so that's also how we can confirm that price is indeed bullish at the short-term potential target. Okay, that's the breakout.
Oh, it literally broke out there. You saw that?
Yes, it's making its way up. The tool, like the trade projection is snapped to the current candle. So I'm gonna move it. You see what I did? I literally grabbed it and moved it a little bit so that it stays. Okay, so I wanna leave it here for the video to see how this short-term potential long trade plays out. Long, we went back to the range. No squeeze. So notice we're looking at this live so that you can all see also how to interpret the tool, right? The range, what's it called? Here it is. Breakout 40, 43, 40, 48. So the range panel is always going to identify a range and it'll update live, right? That's where again we have to do our own homework and say, okay, the range was this and this, so you mark it. It told me there's a breakout, you mark that zone, right? In the end, you just want to take the highest probable trade and you set and forget almost, right? Okay, any questions so far? Anything you want to add, Brother Victor?
Is there trade projection on the short though? When you scroll down in the main app,
What do you mean?
scroll down.
No, I can, this is just selecting short or long.
Oh no, I didn't know if you had ran that already. Meaning like you could run that for them right now, or that it would actually set it right on the last candle, like where they have the stop loss and stuff like that. Unless you just want to leave how you have it.
Yeah. Okay, what else? We're back in, so this says 40, 51, 40, 37 range. 40, 37. Yeah, this is quite lovely. Now let's go into the indicators section. If you have any questions about the tool over here on the right, let me know. The range panel, as you see, updates live. Your live breakdown, this is where you can switch from long or short without necessarily running a signal or a specific parameter. If you run this, it'll give you, based on the current time frame you're in, what the tool, analyzing all of the variables, what the tool would suggest you to do at that specific moment in time. Okay, that's very important as well, that you always know that it's not the general signal or the overall signal of the day, so to speak. It's like for you, the moment you run the tool in your own trading style, it'll adapt to that parameter that you trade within, you see. So as a scalper, anybody who trades between 5 to 30 minutes and you're not holding a trade for 30 minutes, you would obviously use the scalping style and you run it within those parameters. And so if the tool tells you long, then you will obviously have to make sure that the projection is the long one, right? Like potato, potato. It's you have to be. That's self-explanatory. Um, the Fibonacci levels. This is overall information that you may want to have there. It has a volume point of control implemented, the profile volume. So again, based on the time frame, it'll tell you key price levels. So 4076, as you can see here, is the point of control of the current profile volume, which is more or less the first take profit of the signal. So everything is lining up, everything makes sense. These take profit projections are not just made up. Fibonacci levels, because we're in downtrend, it's calculating where is the 61 to 76%, 78% retracement of the latest biggest move. That being said, this drop that we've seen, the Fibonacci levels, it'll tell you. Okay, more or less. So 40, 45. Okay, so it's taken from, let's go to the indicator, Fibonacci. There it is. Notice again how everything is set automatically. You don't have to draw it. That's something else we wanted to also integrate in how the analyzing process and your overall work is more efficient. To clean the chart a little bit, based on this push down, prices within the Fibonacci range. And it all makes sense, right? This is obviously short-term projections. If I drag this, which I can adapt it from this push, this is a target also. This is your short-term long projection take profit level. So if I go to long within the Fibonacci of this drop, okay, so that also makes sense. Everything in the indicators you can edit as well, colors, anything you want. You save those settings and you're good to go. These are yet to come. The morning market review is a voice that is going to describe to you what the market is looking like. And I'm going to leave it like that. I won't say much so that it gets implemented. And then trade testing, you will have. Is this the simulator, Victor, in trade test?
It'll be a mini version of that simulator where people can like test trades out to see what the possible outcome would be.
Okay, yeah, I know what that is. Beautiful. Questions so far, observations, ideas, more than welcomed. You can expand your chart, as you can see, and open your app. You can collapse this and play around with your screen if you need to work on something else. And you have Liqu here on your right. Okay?
Yeah, so the main reason for that, brother, is because you can, when you minimize that, you can actually drag your browser over. The app doesn't change, right? So meaning like when you drag the left of the browser over to the app, your browser, the window,
Yeah.
the corner, you take the corner and you drag it over, or
Right. Yeah.
no, that bottom left corner.
The bottom left corner of what? My screen?
Yeah.
What do you want me to do with that?
I said you can drag your screen so it only shows the app. You get what I'm saying? You won't even see the browser.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You could work on something. When I was saying you could work on something here, that's what I meant to do. I just didn't actually do this. Yeah. Beautiful. So we're stuck in a complicated day, I should say, because price is dumping, right? So storing your trades, so once complete, you can leave a breakdown like a journal. That's a great question, Wilco. That is going to be integrated in the dashboard, in within the market data dashboard. Up over here, right corner, as you can see, it says Open Liqu dashboard, and that will obviously be available very soon. But in this section, this is like 80% of Liqu, right? Our tool is our day trading tool. The market data dashboard is where you'll enter to see the commitment of traders, bank participation. You can connect your trading account. You'll have, like you said, your journal with statistics. You have a calendar of the days you're profitable, the days you're losing. Everything that TradeZilla and TradeSync and all those companies charge you $500 a year for, you get it at 188 a month, or you've already paid lifetime and that's it. You don't have to. And more just for what? Your statistics? Something that is like it belongs to you? Like they're charging me for my data? Since when did I sign up for that? So, but people pay, right? It's wild. But anyway, yeah, we'll have it for a very low cost because we'll just take the time to organize it much better for you, give you AI integrated observations, and it'll start to know you, right? Imagine it's like, I mean, we are nothing compared to anyone out there, but if you would have to sort of describe us, is you put everything that's in the industry, you give it a bunch of steroids, and then that's us. From trading journal platforms to analyzing indicators, signals, and everything. And I want to take the also the moment to share with you. I'm not gonna show it to you, but I'll express myself with a very awesome message from one of our already members who's been profiting with the tool, saying that they know other platforms and other tools that charge way more and don't even work, or there's like this hope to make profit, and it has some days it does, some days it doesn't. So far their experience has been 100% positive. you know this industry, trading, you can lose, of course, right? Nothing is perfect, but overall, when you have immediate good results, it says something, right? It does tell you we're up to something very powerful here. So circling back to the Wilco question about the journal, that'll be in your dashboard along with many other things. So
Can I add something to that?
please, of course.
Yes, Wilco, we're also integrating in this app itself too. At the bottom of the app, when you scroll down, there's actually going to be a run history, right? So what that run history is going to do, it's going to save all the analysis that you run through the app, right? And it's actually going to show you every single analysis that you did, how many of those actually hit TPs. So then you can look back and be like, oh, 80% of the analysis I ran in the app hit take profit. So even though maybe you didn't trade all those, it'll still show you those statistics that at that time that you ran the analysis and the trade projection, that it hit the TPs.
I'm highlighting here the candle at which the signal that I ran within the scalping parameters told me long, which is this one, right? This is a 15-minute candle. This is the area that I mentioned that we could see a retest, these lows. That's the only thing I would adapt as a trader, right? As an analyst, I would say lower this, but just for the sake of our video, we're just going to keep all the parameters that our tool is giving us. We have to see it live in action, everything without touching a thing. Of course, most of you understand price action, and you would know what to do in case price does the opposite of what you're thinking, which is to adapt. Let's see what else. Can't think of anything else other than hearing your questions or observations. Um, you can change your time zone. I always set it. I always set mine to New York. Indicators, we have the basic, the VWAP for your session, daily, weekly, monthly. You know, these are very important institutional targets, right? And so you may want to use those. We have EMAs at basic standard levels 20, 50, 200, 9, 12, 20, 9, 21, 55. Okay, so that's basically their volume profile. Here it is at 4104, 4104, 4105, which is a daily open. So as you as you scroll out, it'll use more candles and update the volume profile for you automatically. That's another thing that I wanted to show you guys, because normally when you have a volume profile tool, it'll kind of keep it as where you set it, depending on which you're using. Here's another volume profile level, which is where price got to already. That's why it's kind of navigating toward it. If we scroll back and get more candles in, as you can see, it keeps adapting. So that's a cool feature. And if you ask me, we are still dumping gold. Short-term trading, obviously, it's nice to catch these moves up, then back down, then up, then down, right? But I think overall we're gonna dump hard. I think the war is still gonna affect the market, and there's a lot of liquidity below 4,000. All of these 4,900. So let's see what August does. If you wanted to get a feel of my own personal kind of idea, volume integrated for people that implement that to their strategies. RSI, basic ATR, support and resistance, the session's highs and lows, and then your session indicator, which gives you a area of each session's time window. Okay, so that is it for now, ladies and gentlemen. Anything you want us to talk with you about? Anything that you are considering? Let us know. Let me run this again. Intraday. Help. I'm gonna leave it. I wanna leave this. I like this trade. I like this idea to go long. The only thing I would do is just lower this down here. That's all I would do. But even then, price is still quite bearish. I mean, short term, yeah, I could go up, but I don't know what's gonna happen. Go to the 30-minute. The 2 hour is interesting because it's being a bullish candle here. This is a bullish hammer, and so this current 2 hour candle should fail to come below this one and then reject strong and close bullish. So I like this projection right here. I like this Liqu projection currently. Another suggestion I would tell you all is that every time a new candle prints, you could run the analysis one more time in case there's anything that from the moment you ran the previous one, anything that has changed. Obviously, you'd want to you would want to align this to your own analysis, right? If we see an overall potential bullish move, and the indicator tells you, right, Liqu tells you it's long 60%, and like in this case, sure, you can stick with it, right? You can. That's where just our task as traders come in. Now, based on this, for example, if I want to just update and say, maybe let's do this again at 15-minute, 4 hours, run it again, just to kind of double check what's happening. Now it's telling me to wait. Does that make sense to me? I think it does. Notice how price was breaking out of this range, and now it's back in it. So it could very well indicate to just be a little more patient and see how these lows behave. That would be interesting also, right? To run it when price is back maybe around down here. I think this is going to hold regardless, because we did manipulate below these lows. And again, we're seeing price already back above V shape. So there's a few things that as a trader, I'm implementing into this and saying, okay, I have a good feeling about this potential trade right here. And that's it. Okay. $40.32 is a sweet spot to put a long trade, says Victor. Yeah, $40.32 right at these lows. The risk to reward is pretty nice if you put it there. I've kept this where our Liqu tool told us to buy before, just to see how it behaved. And I put this arrow, as you can see, where it had its original stop loss. I haven't taken it out yet. Okay, it's been there since the Liqu tool told us, right here. As a trader, I repeat, as a trader, I suggest you lower this here because of these previous lows. But I want to see this live with you all based on the original Liqu signal, right? And see if this manages to catch a reversal. Do I think it could play out? Yes, but I'm not sure because it's already almost midday, and as you know, midday New York, it just kind of goes into a dead mode. And the PM session in New York, you don't know if it'll continue a trend or it'll reverse. It'll usually reverse, but let's see what happens. We still got about an hour and a half for price to break back above 40.50. If I go to the 5 minute, I want to see something in the 5 minute. I'm going to implement my Fibonacci over here from this low to this high. Okay. And notice how the 61 and 78 is within those previous lows where Victor was saying, can you explain the stage analysis for me, please? I think I missed that part. Stage analysis. So this is the tip of the iceberg to the algorithm and how we are calculating the overall sentiment. In every how do I say this? In every trading system, you need certain variables to weigh in your decision, right? So what are the variables you need to consider when trading? You have fundamental analysis, your technical analysis, price action, institutional data, right? Macroeconomic events, and on and on and on. The list is very long. In stage analysis, we're showing you basically the most common and basic of the variables that Liqu uses to determine what the current sentiment is. In our case, we are using a macro variable that the algorithm reads through a bunch of institutional data with which we are connected to, or to which we are connected to. Institutional order flow, or basically also the commitment of traders, right? It'll read through institutional data and how they are allocating their funds and moving money and investing. Then you have your technicals, where you have Fibonacci levels, you have um, EMAs, you have the MACD. So it uses a combination of technicals. And then you have price action, overall price action with the candles, right? There's the market structure. Is it a downtrend? Is it a bullish trend? Has it swept liquidity? Is it below the VWAP, etc.? And after a very long time, right, Victor? After a very long time of coding and making the right the right calculations, we have managed to pull together an engine that, after analyzing all of those variables, it throws you what you see here in the signal panel. Quote unquote signal, right? It's basically the highest probable scenario. In this case, waiting is your highest probable scenario of a profit, right? Ironically, but that's true. And so this is there so that you know why it's a waiting method, right? Like, why are we waiting? Okay, well, because macroeconomic data is bearish. As you can see today, there was a news about, if I'm not mistaken, let's actually look at that real quick. Where is Forex Factory? I missed Forex Factory. Well, there was a news, right? At 10, I think it was at 10 in the morning, and it favored the dollar, and so the dollar got strength, and gold came down. Institutional, we'd have to go and see of all the data we're pulling, but at some point, this is bearish, and so 2 for 2, no bearish, no bullish at that particular analysis, which was 4 hours, the last 4 hours within a 15-minute time window. Okay, what else we got? Victor says it combines analyzation with real math. Yeah, that's true. Candles. I think we're good to go, people. Any other questions? Latest news. It'll pull out latest news. This is basic though. We don't want to like put a bunch of things in your, like, we're not a newspaper, right? We don't want to fucking.
The Liqu market dashboard though will have a ton of news though.
Yeah, that's true. The dashboard, you will have all the news. You have links to the news. You have everything on in the dashboard. But how do I draw on this chart? Okay, we have a drawing tool little box over here. You have the basic things: a line, a text, a rectangle. We're gonna implement horizontal lines. We're gonna implement path and a few other things slowly, right? Because we're starting with the basics. But here's your panel, and let me just clear the chart out for you. I'm gonna keep these lines which were from the previous signal, but to go outside over here, you got your lines, and you just literally click and then drag. You edit them over here. You have to select it and edit as you wish. It won't change unless you don't select the thing. Okay, there it is. Right? Yes, there you go. You have your up and down, automatic up and down arrows, your basic circle, and text Liqu for life. There it is.
Yeah, guys. That's just like Persia said. That's the basics to start. But I mean, eventually there will be a lot more. We also just aren't trying to overwhelm it because you know, Persia draws a lot because he's showing a lot of people different things and how he looks at things and how he analyzes things. But at the end of the day, eventually it just should be like you open this app, you look at the chart, you click analysis, make your decision, and under 8 minutes, and you don't have to draw anything,
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
make
it's
money.
true.
I mean,
And
ultimately that's the goal, right?
exactly. And I will say two things to that. Number one, 8 minutes is actually way too much because it takes less than a minute to run an analysis, see the projection, open a trade. That's it, right? You just set it and forget it. Liqu tells me to buy right now. These are the stop loss. You obviously, important, you obviously want to see the chart for a second and understand the price action, overall market structure with your existing knowledge and say, okay, this makes sense, interesting. Let me put these parameters. Oh, I want to adjust the stop loss based on my risk management, blah, 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 whatever. But you have 88% of the work being done for you in a fraction of the time that it would take you to do it. So, yes, like Victor says, the idea is to eventually not even draw, not even expand your chart into the past and just click, open the trade, make profit. And then the second thing I was gonna say, I forgot. Let me remember. Hold on. Um, damn. I'll forget. I'll remember. I think it was something about drawings.
Yeah, I don't know what you're about to say. I was trying to think what you were about to possibly say, but I can't say. And also, guys, Hurst had talked to me like a week ago and stuff like that too. We will be putting the affiliate program together, so like all you guys, if anybody comes, through you to use the app and stuff like that, you guys will get paid out. So
Oh, that's gonna be interesting. Yeah, we have to figure that out. Affiliate program. If you wanna take the how do I say this? Like, if you want to create some content and share and do your reviews or whatever, and it kind of create a bit of business opportunity for you, that will also be on the table eventually. Huzaifa says, I'm late. Yes, you are. However, a friend of ours is recording this, so you will have that. And Wilco, if you want to, you can stop that so it doesn't become a 1 hour video. I think we've explained